Hello, a grand welcome to all fellow Taoists from the four corners of the world, back to our shared home, Donghua family, the place where we inhale cultivation drama instead of air. At the end of the last episode, after sending a shaman from the Lulan Golden Palace on a one-way trip to the afterlife, our boy Qin, the trash talker, stood center stage, pointed at the crowd, and made a bold declaration. I only need one day to shatter the Tao hearts of you Golden Palace disciples, to trample upon your so-called pride, and to use your dignity as my personal doormat. Hearing this brazen challenge, a hot-headed shaman couldn't take it anymore, roaring, "You insolent fool," as he charged forward like a raging bull. As he sprinted, his body underwent an epic transformation. His skin ripped apart, revealing an elephant head as big as a drum, and his body swelled up so much that his brand-name Cultivation robes ripped to shreds. His limbs were now as thick as temple pillars, and his whole body glowed with a golden light as if he'd swallowed a mini-sun. After his 10 out of 10 special effects transformation, he threw a punch called Mad Elephant's Rice Pounder. The air boomed like New Year's fireworks, and a white shockwave blasted in all directions, so powerful it blew off Ling Yuxiu's wig and sent Hu Linger, who was watching the drama from afar, tumbling several times. Facing this earth-shattering punch, Qin Mu remained as cool as a cucumber. He didn't retreat but instead gracefully dodged, strolling past the fist like he was on a catwalk before closing in on his opponent's massive body. Then, he whipped out his knockoff dragon-slaying saber and unleashed a fancy-sounding move, unsheathing the forbidden blade. By the time Qin Mu landed and stylishly sheathed his saber, the elephant-headed shaman's body had split into two halves like a watermelon, his lifeblood gushing out and staining the steps of the golden dais red. Seeing his buddy get deleted, another shaman with bloodshot eyes waved a black flag that looked like a dirty rag, trying to refine Qin Mu's soul. But Qin Mu had already soul-locked himself with the creation heavenly devil art. He simply raised a hand, and a flying sword screamed out of the express delivery box on his back, piercing straight through the opponent's forehead. A perfect headshot that silenced the entire arena. Witnessing this, a leopard-headed female cultivator raised a bronze mirror, which revealed countless ferocious souls. In response, Qin Mu immediately directed his flying sword to attack, but it was blocked by the mirror with a clang. The female shaman was just celebrating her good purchase when, in the next moment, the sword started spinning like a power drill, transforming into the drill sword form and drilling right through the mirror and its pretty owner. The epic battle continued. A tiger-bodied shaman charged in for close combat, trying to prevent Qin Mu from pulling out any more toys. The clash of bang-bang sounds was endless. This shaman, now with a tiger head, let out heaven-shaking roars, attempting a soul attack on Qin Mu. But Qin Mu's fist techniques were even more mystical. Shifting between sunlight refines the yang soul in midair, and heavenly devil's freedom seal. The tiger's roar only sounded 3 times before the shaman's soul was scattered to the winds. Seeing that the grunts were useless, a grand shaman at the Six Harmonies realm could no longer sit still. His power level was far superior, but he decided to play fair by sealing his own cultivation for an even match. In a flash, he transformed into a giant ape, wielding a golden staff the size of a telephone pole. Faced with this massive weapon, Qin Mu calmly pulled out his domestically produced bamboo stick to counter. The two exchanged blows as fast as lightning. Suddenly, the grand shaman's storm of staff shadows retracted. His heart had been struck by Qin Mu's bamboo stick. Realizing he was about to get his ticket punched, he decided to hack the game by unsealing his power. But it was too late. The very moment his hidden realm began to open, the bamboo stick had already pierced his heart. What followed was a cleanup operation. A giant golden armor warrior charged forward. Qin Mu, wielding 2 pig-butchering knives, executed a single line across the vast expanse, a single horizontal slash that was like splitting a mountain, and instantly diced the warrior into 4 neat pieces. After a while, no one else dared to step up. Over 40 corpses lay strewn across the golden dais. The surviving shamans were pale as ghosts, their eyes filled with terror, none daring to look directly at Qin the slaughter god. Only then did he cast a cold glance around and announce in a loud voice, "Whoever practices the Lulan Golden Palace's Vu Tun Lao Law scripture, step forward. I'm looking to take a life." Hearing this, a youth named Si Mula stepped out. His expression was solemn, but his eyes held a hint of excitement. He had clearly been waiting for Qin Mu to run out of juice before making his move. At the same time, a Vu King called out from a distance, "See Mila, his opening is on his left shoulder, right at the shoulder blade." The climactic battle began. Qin Mu threw his Spring Thunder in EEC punch, hitting Si Mila but only producing a clang, as if striking a great bell. The force was completely useless. In an instant, Si Mila transformed. Wings made of countless golden swords sprouted from his back, and on each sword was a creepy, pitch-black eye. Gazing at those eyes, Qin Mu felt dizzy. He immediately shut his eyes and executed the night battle in the walled city blade art. The clang of sword on blade was incessant. After a few exchanges, Qin Mu realized his opponent's techniques were just too bizarre. He decided to fuse all 36 flying swords into a single, massive drill sword form for a finishing blow. This one attack pierced through Si Mula's sword wing defense. Terrified, Si Mula flapped his wings and tried to flee into the sky. But this was a fatal mistake. The wind he generated became a foothold for Qin Mu's heaven-stealing leg technique, allowing him to run in the air even faster than his opponent could fly. In the sky, lights flashed continuously. After a fierce exchange, the tip of Si Mula's sword pierced Qin Mu's left shoulder. But at the same moment, a paper-thin gleam from Qin Mu's blade also slid across his opponent's neck. Both fell. Si Mula landed majestically, his golden wings spread wide. The Golden Palace disciples erupted in thunderous cheers, thinking their senior brother had won. However, when Qin Mu landed, he calmly pulled the sword from his own shoulder and silently walked towards the still proud Si Mula. Then, before everyone's astonished eyes, Qin Mu reached out, grabbed Si Mula by the hair, and gently lifted his head clean off his neck. The cheering died instantly. Qin Mu was injured, but another Grand Shaman had already stepped forward, Dan Bala, from the Six Harmonies realm. He wielded a mace with a giant human skull for a head, which itself had 7 smaller skulls on it. The 8 skulls opened their eyes at once, spewing 7 streams of black smoke like flood dragons, capable of corrupting flying swords. Qin Mu was instantly on the back foot, forced to constantly move and dodge. Finally, he lured his opponent into a golden hall, inside of which was a magnificent landscape created by his mountains and rivers within the sword technique. Outside, everyone held their breath. After a long moment, the golden figure of Dan Bala leaped out from the hall. He stood on the roof, one hand holding his bone mace, the other raising a freshly severed head, still dripping with blood. At this sight, the crowd from the Lulan Golden Palace burst into deafening cheers. Ling Yuxiu, Hu Linger, and the Azure Bull's faces turned deathly pale. Had Qin Mu really just gotten written off like that? And on that cliffhanger, we end episode 52 of Tales of Hurting Gods. Thank you for tuning into Donghua family. Did Qin Mu really kick the bucket? Or is this another epic troll? Find out in the next episode. Goodbye and see you again, fellow Taoists.